Get Rich Slow with John Wolf. This is my cousin Ben, and he's going to be asking me a couple questions. We'll see how I do.
Yeah, hopefully this is going to be very informative to those of you out there. So today I wanted to talk about people that think getting a mortgage is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people out there think there's too much involved, there's too many steps. They might not be able to they don't think of themselves as someone that would actually be able to get one in the first place, so they don't ever even look into it or ask any questions about it. So what advice would you have for the people out there that, maybe need to know a little bit more?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'd really like to say is that the number of people who think that they can't own a home and are wrong is a lot larger than the people who think they can own a home and are wrong. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of people underestimate their ability to afford a home or be qualified. So if you've watched my channel for a little while, you've heard there's really only 4 questions determine if you're going to get a home loan and what it looks like, and that is property, income, assets, and credit. And here in the Portland metro area, home prices aren't low.
That is correct, yes.
But it's still a lot more reasonable than a lot of people think. And then there is the whole Portland metro area, going out a little farther. But, normal-ish property in Portland is around $400,000, minus a bit, plus a lot, potentially. And in order for a normal person to do that, a lot of people can take advantage of zero down programs, a lot more than people would think.
Okay.
But even if you couldn't, 3% of $400,000 is $12,000. And now that is a decent chunk of cheddar.
Yeah, and I mean, wouldn't you also say, you kind of touched upon it, some people think they can but can't.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that situation,
mm-hmm.
it would be good for someone to kind of know where they're at. And is that something that you could help people with? If maybe their credit might be a little iffy, or they don't really have enough money down, even though there are a number of zero down programs as well.
Mm-hmm.
But are you someone that could kind of hold someone's hand or help them, even if maybe they're not ready today, but you could kind of get them to a place where they could be down the road? And what would be involved in that?
Yeah, so it's great to consult with me. I mean, there's 3 directions you can be going in life. You're either drifting or driven or directed. And being directed is...
The 3 Ds.
That's right.
Triple D.
And, the most successful is being directed. So, I'll be able to talk to you about, what are you looking for in the first place? We'll talk about your income. One of the cool life experiences that I have is I've seen thousands of job descriptions and what people make. So believe it or not, I've actually hooked people up with significant job upgrades quite a few times, just because the people didn't know what to look for or apply to from where they were sitting already. Also, credit is almost never a reason why somebody who talks to me doesn't get a house.
This is true. I've seen it firsthand. So even if you have horrible credit, it can happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could check out my video with MJ, but we took MJ from sub 400 credit to over 700. I just gave him the playbook. He followed the directions, and 4 months later, he owned a home with way better credit and a much better deal than he could have ever gotten if he just, didn't have me tell him exactly what to do. Because knowing what to do, G.I. Joe's, it's like half the battle.
There it was. I wasn't quite there yet, but he got us there. And that brings up, for people that don't think you can do it, what I'm thinking about is the example of a client we're working with right now. I think we can use first names. Is that okay?
Depends on who it is.
Yeah, you'd be okay with it. So we got a client named Reese, recently got married, and they are kind of house hunting right now. They only make about, $2,800 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at the $375 price range. And so coming back to people thinking that they can't buy a home, I think a big part of it is people thinking they don't have the income.
Yeah.
Like, how would I even be able to approach that because I'm only making $2,600 a month, for example?
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the right person on the right program can actually, and the right expectations for home purchase price, they totally can be shopping.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are sincerely shopping, and they don't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything special other than the veteran status, which does help a lot for him.
Right. But there's still ways. I mean, the VA program's wonderful, and if you are a veteran, we can help you immensely. But we can also help those that aren't veterans immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not a veteran, but you're not even cracking that $3,000 a month. And by the way, with this client, that's the combined income between him and his wife, because one of them is currently a student. So it's not like there's some other income there. But for people that aren't even, they're thinking, man, I don't even make $3,000 a month. There's no way I would even be able to buy a home, right? So they haven't even really looked into it much.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is you could easily qualify, and they're looking at homes that fit their budget for their income, actually in the city of Portland proper. But they're also they're kind of looking all over the place, because there are still a lot of under $400,000 homes even in Portland itself.
Yeah,
but then you have the surrounding areas as well, which opens up way more possibilities. But
yeah, but you're totally correct. Somebody making $3,000 a month who's been careful on other fields can totally afford a modest home in the Portland metro area.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they can't. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I think, if people aren't cracking $3,000 a month, it might not have even crossed their minds.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, on the modest home front especially, the difference between rent and mortgage payment is small.
Right. So one of their requirements is they wanted to be under $2,000 a month. And that includes not just the mortgage itself, but also the taxes and the homeowner's insurance, which are two other factors that people need to think about when they're budgeting or thinking about what they can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be, I think, a couple $100 even under that $2,000 once it's all said and done. They're still looking and they haven't really found the place yet. But yeah, and then that brings up something else that I was thinking about.